had this feeling quite recently of I don't know what to do, and I don't know what I want to do, and I don't want to do anything. I just didn't know. I had this feeling of I don't want to start anything, and this terrified me because we don't want to live life like that. We can't afford to live life feeling unmotivated, feeling lack of drive, and living a lazy life. I don't want you to feel like that, and I don't want to feel like that. And this is how I bounced back from feeling like that to now feeling re-inspired and re-energized and ready to make shit happen. We all know that reassessing your goals, celebrating small wins, rewarding yourself, and self-care are all ways to motivate yourself. But in this video, we are going deeper. Right now, you're lost, or maybe you have a small sense of direction and where you want to be, but your motivation and drive is lacking. We all know not to rely on motivation, blah, 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 and discipline is everything. But how fun is it to actually feel motivated and actually feel inspired to get to where you want to be? And that is what I want to leave you with the feeling of when you finish this video. All the chapters are linked below. I'm going to give tips, I'm going to give actionable steps, and we're going to talk about habits as well. Discipline is essential, but motivation is fun. So let's go. Mimi Bouchard is the person who first introduced me to the bounce back rate. Have you ever heard of the bounce back rate? Let me know if you have. But this is the rate in which you bounce back from low moments. Right now, you're in a low moment. You're in a period of lack of drive, motivation, ambition. This is where we're heading into our bounce back period. Our bounce back rate is how long it takes to get from the low moment back to our natural state of feeling good and feeling inspired. Now, as you grow and as you progress, your bounce back rate goes from 3 days, 5 days, 1 week to being 1 day, 24 hours, 5 hours, because you set up systems to get you back towards that state of feeling good and feeling inspired. So in this video, we are bouncing back. I hope this video helps to decrease your bounce back rate and get back into that good phase. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. There are two types of motivation. Extrinsic or external is when you are motivated to clean your house, for example, because your external environment is affecting you, so you are extrinsically motivated to change that. It's somebody telling you what to do, like your boss or your colleague saying, we need this finished by Friday, get that done. That is your extrinsic motivation. Whereas your intrinsic or your internal motivation is when you are setting yourself personally a goal to do something. So that can be your drive to become financially free, your drive to become fitter, to become healthier, your drive to have a family and have a life partner, for example. That is intrinsic motivation. Or even when you spend time on your days off working to get better at a hobby simply because you want to. That is also a version of being intrinsically motivated. Now in this video, we want to get motivated by life. So we might need a bit of extrinsic, but we want to mainly focus on the intrinsic. These are my 6 hacks to getting motivated and back on track again. And then I'm going to talk about habits, and then I'm going to give you some things to do right now once you have finished the video. I have been going through a period of a few weeks feeling lack of motivation, feeling lack of inspiration, and feeling like I don't know where I'm going anymore. It was actually quite scary because when you're in this period, you feel like, when am I going to come out of this, and when am I going to take action again? Because I need to take action, or I want to take action, I want to make things happen. But when you are in this, sometimes it's really important to feel into it and understand why you're in it. And we're also going to talk about that in the steps to becoming motivated. But the first thing I want you to do is surround yourself by inspired people. Not inspiring people, but people who are inspired. People who are working on their dream life. People who have that energy that they're just working on something that they love, that they're doing something that they love. Because when you are around people like that, you adopt that energy. You can ask them questions. You can say, I want to write a post about this today, but I don't know how to start it. And maybe they will help you. You can say, I want to grow my business, but I'm not really sure on how to do that. Maybe they will just give you one idea and bam, that will be it. And that will be what sets you up to get back on track. This literally happened to me the other day when I was with my older brother, and he was in front of me working on his dream, his life, his music, And I just said, like, I don't know, maybe I need to like put some money in to grow my business. And he gave me ideas, and after that I was feeling instantly inspired, and I literally was in flow for like hours. And I hadn't been in flow for so long. I hadn't been able to get into that flow and feel that love for my business in weeks. I want you to spend time with someone who is intrinsically motivated and see how that inspires you. See how being in their energy inspires you to get back on track with your goals. I want to emphasize the intrinsic motivation here, because if it's a friend who is externally motivated because of the work that they have to do for their job or for their colleagues, etc., then it's not going to have that same energy, and it's not going to reflect onto you in a powerful way. Do you have a friend who intimidates you with how successful they are and how driven they are and how ambitious they are? Now is your time to drop your ego and hang around with that friend. Now is the time to drop your ego and ask for help. Surround yourself with people who are inspired. People radiate energy. People adopt energy. You will know that if you are dating someone or if you have a partner, you might realize when you're dating, like, I don't even know if this person is my type, but it's their energy. It's their energy that they exude that makes me so infatuated by them. And that is the same with motivation, and that is the same with hanging around with people who are inspired and motivated. When I was feeling unmotivated and uninspired, the last thing I wanted to do was hang around with my super successful friend, right? Because they're only going to make me feel worse. Wrong. They are going to, if they are your friend or your family and they support you, they are going to lift you up to their level so that you are with them. They are not going to keep you down there, but they are going to lift you up. And if you don't have the people who do that, then find those people. Loss, aversion, and making your life feel uncomfortable. I recently read in an article about loss aversion. This means that you are putting something at stake when you feel unmotivated. Now, because this is an external motivation mechanism, it will work best for simple, smaller tasks rather than creative work, because creative work has to be really internally motivated, but smaller tasks that you have to do for your studies or for your work, etc., they can be externally motivated. So loss, aversion, and making your life uncomfortable. What can you say that you will lose if you don't do this task? And making your life uncomfortable means how can you make your life not that fun if you don't get back on track? It sounds like a negative way to motivate yourself, but if you are anything like me, then you actually get motivated and you actually get drive from not enjoying certain circumstances in your life. And this is where a lot of my drive came from last year, because I didn't like the situation that I was in. And as much as that is not pleasant and it doesn't align with all of the content out there right now of living your dream life and being happy right now, it helps a lot to internally motivate you. You can use loss aversion for external, and you can use making your life uncomfortable for internal motivation. Because when I didn't like the place that I lived, when I wasn't enjoying my cafe job, I was very internally motivated because I really wanted to change those things about my life, and I was putting myself in an uncomfortable situation. The same with moving away from home. I was putting myself in an uncomfortable situation to feel inspired again and to feel like I need to change my life. When I didn't like the apartment that I was living in, I felt so internally motivated because I wanted to move out. Now that I like the apartment that I live in, I can feel that sense of motivation drop because now I'm enjoying my life even more. So it's really weird, but some people work like this and some people don't. So test and see if making your life a little bit worse will actually motivate you to make your life better. You can do this by joining a gym that's further away. You can do this by moving somewhere that you don't love. You can do this by living below your means to make yourself make more money. If you can't afford the nice snacks that you want, you can't afford the nice brands that you want, use that to internally motivate you to change your life. If you can't book the nice hotel, you can't book the nice Airbnb, you can't go on the nice holidays, use that to motivate you. Whatever you like, whatever situation you are in that you don't really like, that you're kind of annoyed about, use that to motivate yourself. New things, as small as changing the time when you work out in the morning, can motivate you and can switch up your life so that you feel inspired again. Because the reason why you might be feeling lack of motivation is because your life just isn't interesting anymore. It's because your life is becoming stagnant and it's becoming like a groundhog day. Small changes can lead to big changes and big impact. Change the time that you work out, change who you work out with, change how your routine goes, change the times that you eat in. Whatever you can change that's in your control, try it. Try to do something different and see what happens. If you're trying to meet the love of your life, for example, but you keep dating and failing the same people, then how do you expect to meet that love of your life? It's like if you keep hanging out at the same spaces or doing the same routines, but you want to make new friends. How are you going to make new friends if you are doing the same thing and you're not putting yourself in new situations? It doesn't have to be something huge that can make small changes. You know, you could go to a cafe and order a new salad that you order, and then someone could say, I love that one. And then you'd be like, oh my God, I've never tried it. Oh my God, you've never tried it? A conversation just happened. You know, you never know from small changes what big changes can come from that. Moving country is obviously a big change. I know that it's not doable for everyone, but it is something that I recommend if you are feeling uninspired and unmotivated, because your surroundings, just like the people you surround yourself with, your environment also affects how you feel and how motivated and how driven you are. I know that when I am away right now, when I am in Spain and I see new trees, I see new nature, I see new things, I feel so inspired compared to when I am home. So I know that for me, traveling has to be a priority because it keeps me inspired and it keeps me in love with my life and in love with my business. Add or take away stress from your life. What do you need? This is similar to the putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Do you need more stress right now, or do you need less stress? Are you very stressed that it's causing you to feel unmotivated and exhausted in your life, or do you not have enough stress and you're feeling bored? What is the reason for your lack of motivation? Discover what that is, and then you can act on that and figure out whether you need more or less stress in your life. Humans like to help other humans. That is why I am making these YouTube videos for you, because I want to help you be a better version of you. Knowing that our work actually helps us increase our internal motivation, because we know that we are serving someone more than ourselves. And I know that people who start businesses, they don't start businesses just to benefit themselves, but they start it for a bigger, better cause, because that pushes them to keep going. I know I can say that from experience. That is why I couldn't just start any random MMA just because it was trending, but I had to do something that felt in alignment with me and my values. Talk to the people who benefit from what you do, who benefit from your work, who benefit from your actions, and understand how what you do actually helps other people, and let that push you and let that keep you going. With my agency, for example, if I'm feeling uninspired, I can read previous testimonials, I can message my clients, I can read my reviews, and that can help to motivate me, to keep me going, because I know that I'm doing something good. The same with YouTube comments, I can read those. Anything like that can help to increase your motivation. That could be asking your boss, asking your colleague for feedback, for verbal feedback, just so that you can understand what your place is and how you are benefiting wherever you are working. I had to sit down and open the window because it is so warm. But reassessing your goals is not an underrated hack for getting motivated, but you need to focus on what is possible for you and the life that you can actually get from doing the work that you are avoiding doing. What is on the other side of the work that you are avoiding? What life could be there? What people could be there? What experiences could be there? Instead of just assessing your goals and realigning with what your goals are, realign with what your ultimate life could be. What I did to get back on track was I created just a small mind map in my journal of the ultimate life for myself. And this isn't huge and crazy, but it's being able to buy a house. It's being able to do things like that so that I can live what I believe is an ultimate life. So create a small mind map, ultimate life, and have your different categories. For me, it was my business, it was my relationships, it was my YouTube channel, for example, and traveling, because traveling is a huge thing that I want to keep doing. And this is in with the self-discovery part of getting motivated again, understanding what you actually want from your life, what your goals are, but what could be possible. And can you motivate yourself by making a mind map? Can you do it visually by making a Pinterest board of your ultimate life? Can you make a vision board? Just because we're not in a new year right now doesn't mean that you can't make a vision board, doesn't mean that you can't set new goals and set new dreams for yourself. How can you motivate yourself? By showing yourself what could be possible if you take action. When I'm wanting to get motivated, I also reflect a lot on what I have already written down in my journal and what my goals are and what I set myself at the start of the year, for example, or last year, months ago, 1 month ago, whatever that is. Reflect on what you have set yourself and what your goals are again, because sometimes when we're feeling unmotivated, we've literally just lost direction and we've lost what we're working on, and we just forget. Our mind forgets things, and that's completely normal. So how can you remind yourself again of what you want and why you are going for that and what your ultimate life could be? Now that we have covered the motivation side of the video, I want to talk about habits. If you are now living a lazy lifestyle, I would say, and you are just doing the bare minimum, you know, you're snoozing your alarm, you're working out when you can in the evening, you're not really pushing yourself, but you're doing the bare minimum. I just want to say that that is great. Well done. You are doing what most people aren't doing. So well done, and give yourself credit. Self-love and rewarding yourself is really important. Even if you don't feel like you're doing enough, you really are, and you are already enough with doing nothing, you know. But I know that you clicked on this video and you want to upgrade and you want to get like motivated and back on track, right? So how can you make these small changes that we covered in the motivation section? Make small changes to your day to change things up, and push yourself and set yourself challenges. A few weeks ago, I was feeling very stagnant and very under-challenged because most of the activities that I'm doing now in my business, a year ago, they were very challenging, they were very new, and they were very hard. It's been 1 year since I started those. So now they're very easy and they come very naturally to me, which means that my mind isn't feeling challenged anymore. So I said to myself, what is really challenging for me? And it's speaking to new people, it's talking to strangers, it's starting conversations. So I set myself a challenge to actually do that every week. Or running. Running is very challenging to me. So I set myself a challenge to run twice, 2 or 3 times a week. I forgot what it was now. But I set myself challenges on the things that I find hard. What do you find hard right now? Is it getting up earlier? Can you get up 10, 30 minutes earlier? Can you do it 3 days a week? Can you do it 5? Can you do it every day? How can you set yourself mini challenges and think of it as a challenge? If you need a friend to do it with you, do that. But this is a challenge. It's not just a boring thing that you're doing, but it's a challenge to set yourself and see it as that. See new habits that you're implementing as challenges to set yourself, to see if you can prove it to yourself. And the more that you do this, and the more that you do prove it to yourself, the more disciplined you will be, and the more self-confidence you will have, because you will constantly do things, say you will do things, and actually do those things. When it comes to deciding what habits we want to create, we have to understand what person it is that we want to be, and where we want our future selves to be, and what we want our future selves to do, and think of what habits they do every day. Speaking from my experience, I know that my future self gets up early, she gets her work done, and then she has the rest of the day free. She does most of her works on Monday and Tuesday, then she has the rest of the week to work on her YouTube channel and things that she loves, for example. So I try to adopt a lot of that lifestyle right now to get closer to being her, which means she's a morning person, which means she prioritizes nutritious meals, which means she prioritizes protein, which means she works out every single day no matter where she is. That is what she does. She also doesn't only do weight training, but she does other things to make sure that she is mobile. For me, weight training is so easy now, and it's so like, I just do it. So it's more challenging for me to switch up my workouts and do other things, but I have to reflect on who my future self is and what she does, and start doing what she does. And this is how you are going to know what habits you want to create. And once you know what habits you want to create, then you want to start habit stacking. I do recommend the book Atomic Habits. For building good habits, please read Atomic Habits, because I cannot explain everything that's in this book in this video. I will be here for way too long. But one hack is habit stacking, which means that you attach a habit to an existing habit that you already have. When you brush your teeth, for example, maybe that's when you do your journaling. When you drink your coffee, maybe that is when you read 10 pages. How can you habit stack? The same with when you're going to bed, the same with in the morning, same with when you're training. How can you stack good habits around those habits? And if you have bad habits, instead of just taking those away, how can you replace them with less bad habits? Or how can you minimize them? Or how can you replace them with good habits? There is also an ABC technique. ABC means anchor, behavior, and celebration. So we want to anchor a habit to an already existing habit, which is like habit stacking. So after you existing habit, you then new habit. Try and do this as a journal practice if you want. So after you brush your teeth, you will new habit. After you eat your lunch, you will go for a walk, for example. That is also attaching it to a behavior that you already do and a behavior that you already have. Then you want to celebrate after. You want to celebrate the small wins to keep yourself going. This is telling your brain that you are doing the right thing, and it's going to reward you with maybe a hit of dopamine. And we all know how powerful dopamine is for our brains. So how can you reward yourself after you have done your new habit? Rewarding yourself can be little things, like it can be food, of course, but it can also be calling a friend, scrolling on Instagram, giving yourself 10 minutes to do something, or something like that. I also like working with minimums and maximums. This is all about consistency, because sometimes we set ourselves a habit to run every day, for example. It might be run 3 kilometers every single day, or run 5K every day, right? Say if your goal is to run 5K 3 times a week. So you have a goal, run 5K 3 times a week. What is your minimum and what is your maximum? Your maximum is 3 days, 5K. 3 days, 5K, that is your maximum. That is amazing. If you do that, you are amazing. You can reward yourself. You are on track. But what if your week is busy? What if your week is intense? What if your body is in pain? What is your minimum? Is it 3 days at 3K? Is it 2 days at 5K? What is your minimum that you would still be grateful that you did and proud of yourself, but you will know that you could have done a little bit better? Figure out what your minimums are and figure out what your maximums are. For me, I really want to walk after I eat my food. So my maximums are walking after I eat every meal. My minimums is just my breakfast and my lunch and skipping my evening, and I'm still happy with that. I'm still happy with my minimums. I'm still grateful for myself, but my maximums are the goal. It's all about consistency and making it really easy to just get into these habits. Say if you want to do 20 minutes of yoga every day, but one day you wake up and you don't feel like it, all you have to do is get onto your mat and get in a child's pose. And then from there, you might feel like doing the yoga, you might not, but at least you got there, and that is your minimum. Building habits is one of the biggest hacks to living healthy, and then adding to those habits when your habits become too easy. For so long we have thought becoming healthy means starting something new and extreme, but becoming healthy is just doing the same things over and over and over again. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it actually works, and we want to do the things that work. It's a different day, and I'm finishing off this video with a journal practice that I want to share with you to get you motivated. So here are 6 or maybe 7 questions to ask yourself. I also did this practice and it helps so much. The first thing I want you to do is to split your page into 2 columns. One column is going to be, I don't feel inspired because, and then you are going to finish off this sentence in multiple different points, because there might be multiple things that are making you feel uninspired right now. In the next column, you are going to write the solution, which is what you think the solution is to you not feeling inspired. Now, right now, you might not actually be aware of what the solution is that's keeping you feeling stuck and uninspired, but this practice will help you brainstorm ideas and have a think about what's been happening in your life right now that could be contributing to you not feeling motivated and not feeling inspired to take action. The next prompt is, my top 3 goals right now are And this is simply to reflect on what your top 3 priorities are now, to get you back on track, to remind you of what you are focusing on, whether it's to get into the best shape, whether it's to apply for that university, whether it's to grow your business somehow. What are your top 3 goals? These are not actions that you are doing, these are not habits, but these are goals you have. And if it helps, think of the end of the year, what you want to achieve by the end of the year. Third one is, what is my why behind these goals? And I want you to go in depth and in detail. Who are the goals for? What will it help you with life? What will it help you be able to buy, be able to afford? Who will it help? Go into detail on your why behind these goals. What are 3 things that I know I will feel better today if I do right now? This is being brutally honest with yourself, because feeling better right now, feeling better today might require you to go for that walk outside, which you really don't want to do. It might require you to go to the gym, which you really don't want to do. It might require you to eat a healthy meal, which you really don't want to do. Be honest with yourself, write down 3 things that you know for a fact will make you feel better, and do those things. Just do those things, get them out of the way, get them done, and prove to yourself that those things make you feel better, and it will get easier over time. It's usually the leap we have to take. We're taking that leap right now, getting back into motivated, inspired, the inspired, motivated person that you are. We're leaping, and then it's going to be pretty breezy from there. What emotions stop me from taking action? Overwhelm, doubt, fear. Understand what these emotions are, because it's likely that these emotions are stopping you from taking action. It's not exactly things that are happening in your life, but it's just ways that you are feeling which are stopping you from acting. Me, I know that a lot of the time it's doubt. I have self-doubt and I have overwhelm. I think my tasks are way too big. I get overwhelmed, I don't start it, for example. Or I doubt that I'm going to achieve my goal. I doubt that my task is going to get me what I want, so I don't even start it because I just doubt it already in the first place. Some examples. And now work on letting those emotions go. They are not serving you, they are not helping you, they are only hindering you. How can you let them go and reflect on that? Those are the journal prompts and the questions that I want you to ask yourself. Grab your notebook and journal on those. Write them down and just give yourself around 15 minutes to dive deep into that. And I promise it will help you to get back on track and to get back feeling inspired and kind of understand why you got into this uninspired state in the first place. Because when you know why you got into this state, it's much easier to get out of it, and it's much easier to recognize when it starts coming again. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, and make sure to watch my recent video on hard questions to ask yourself for a life upgrade. If you like journaling, you will love that video, and if you don't, then start journaling because it's the best thing ever, and watch that video. No, I'm joking, but have a beautiful day, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day, week, month, life.